Hi everybody, it's James here. Welcome to another video. So I'm going to try and show you most of the remainder of my inbox from 2020 because I picked up a lot of records this year and got quite a lot to show you. So I'm not going to say too much about these records because we'll be here all day otherwise. So in the background you can hear this record. This was an accidental purchase. This is by somebody called Larson and the album is called Jungle Fever. And I picked this up by accident on my way out of my local antiques place, thinking that it was by Niels Lofgren, who I discovered him earlier this year. I picked up a record by him. I've had some VCLT from somebody as well that I need to show as well. I'll do that on my next video. But I grabbed this just in passing. I thought it was by Niels Lofgren. I didn't stop to read the name carefully enough, and it's actually by this guy Neil Larson. Don't know much about him, but it's quite a nice album. It's got Andy Newmark on drums on it. Just noticed he's the guy from Sly and the Family Stone. Also on this album you've got Michael Brecker. It's a kind of easygoing jazz fusion type record. There's some quite nice playing on it. Anyway, let's whiz through without too much talking from me. So I grabbed a copy of this record. This is the Patti Smith Group and Wave, which comes from 1979. Nice inner there. Patti, and wasn't really what I was expecting. I've only heard the first Patti Smith Band album, which is quite abrasive and punky. This one is more poppy. It's produced by Todd Rundgren, and it's got a quite nice, interesting left field pop sound to it. And then this one, I grabbed this from Heightside Records, my local market stand. This is Utopia, Todd Rundgren. I think this was the first album he did as Utopia, so it was one I was missing from the collection. Still trying to build the Todd collection up. It's not necessarily all that easy. You find his albums around the place, from Bearsville, but they're often not in great condition. So yeah, I mean, this is a really full-on record, you know, Todd Rundgren. Kind of proggy, psyche, electronic, instrumental madness. Right, and now a few records by the same artist. This is Waylon Jennings. So these records, I grabbed these from Bernardo's, which is a little charity shop in the UK here in Lancaster, and they've been a big consignment of country and country rock stuff, so I was pleased to add these to the collection. This is Waylon Jennings Is On His Way. I don't have a huge amount of information about these records as yet. I do have quite a lot of Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard now, so I'm thinking at some point of trying to do some sort of video on them. So anyway, there's that one. See anything interesting on the label for you for that? No, just Black RCA. So that seemed to be quite an early record by him. Then there's this one, also picked up on the same day on Vocalion. This is just called Waylon Jennings. Don't Think Twice, It's Alright is on this by Dylan. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, I don't know a huge amount about Waylon Jennings, but I suppose he falls into the category of outlaw country, slightly edgier country music than you expect from the the usual Nashville Brigade. So nice things to pick up, and they're in really nice condition as well, which it's quite a nice label on this one. Oh, it's just MCA Coral actually. I thought it was something exotic when I saw that flash of colour, but it's not. And then this one, this was a slight disappointment, this one, because it looked like it was going to be really great. This is Ladies Love Outlaws, a rugged, exciting, somewhat renegade singer, it says on the back. He looks uncannily like the late comedian Bill Hicks on the cover there. Well, I think Bill Hicks used to model himself on Waylon Jennings, and there's kind of country outlaws. It starts out well, this record. Ladies Love Outlaws, Crazy Arms on side one. It goes a little bit soft on side two. The record doesn't quite fulfill its potential as a kind of outlaw country record, but still a nice thing to pick up. And again, it's in beautiful condition. This one as well was just a sort of auto grab. It was only £1. A little bit of George Jones. I'm a People. On musical records. That's a new one on me. Not a particularly interesting label. Okay, right, so that's the little flush of country over with. Now there's two classic country rock records. So I picked these both up I think, from my local antiques place. So the first one, we've got Roger Mcguinn and his album Peace on You, and this is a promo copy from London Weekend Television Music Services. So anybody out there who watches, I think it's Invisible Ray, has the LWT music jingle at the start of his videos. I thought that was quite funny. So Roger Mcguinn, nice album. It dips a little bit on side 2. On the first side, you've got some tracks arranged and conducted by Al Cooper, the great American musician, keyboard player. He writes a great song on this record called Please Not One More Time, which is fantastic, really great song. The track Peace on You is good. It dips a bit in the middle for me, this record. It goes a little bit maudlin, a little bit slow, but certainly some nice songs on there from the Chief Bird. And then I was really pleased to get this one. I think this was from the Antique Centre. This is the first bit of vinyl that I've ever owned by Lynyrd Skynyrd. And I'm assuming this is their second album because it's called Second Helping. I don't know much about Lynyrd Skynyrd. I've got a best of CD, but I don't have any. Well, this is the first record of theirs that I've ever owned, and I'm not too up on their history. I know there's a bit of tragedy in their history, you know, people dying in plane crashes and goodness knows what else, but I've grown to like their music a lot more. Back in my younger days, I wouldn't have touched this with a barge pole, really. I think I used to see it as sort of redneck music or something, but there's a certain groove and a certain spirit to them which I like. I like the guitar arrangements and the chord voicings. It's definitely got a bit of grit to it, you know. Sort of the American status quo. Is that accurate? I don't know. Anyway, it's got some cracking stuff on it. Sweet Home Alabama is on here, you know, so you can't go wrong with a bit of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Right, a couple of blues now. These are just cheapies from Heightside Records. Picked up a compilation, it's called Chronicle, Albert King and Little Milton, which I thought was quite nice. Both part of the East St. Louis or Louis, Illinois blues scene in the late 50s. There's a song by Little Milton which I've always loved, which is not on this record. I can't think what it's called, but my old band used to play it. We're Gonna Make It. Great song. Didn't have anything by Albert King, the great guitarist, so I need to get his album. Is it Born Under a Bad Sign? But I thought that was a good little primer for those two guys. What label is that on? Oh, it's on Stax, actually. Very nice. There we go. Stax. And then this one again picks up on the same day. I think there'd been a bit of a blues consignment down at Heightside, so I grabbed this as well. Memphis Slim. He was a pianist. I think he was from Memphis, I assume. And the reason I picked this up, I thought it was quite interesting. It's got Alexis Corner on guitar, father of the British electric blues scene, of course. So that was quite a nice thing to pick up. Right, so a couple of more pop rock type finds now. This one from the Antique Centre here in Lancaster, and another Todd Rundgren production. Really pleased to get this. This is a fantastic album. This is Hall & Oates, War Babies, and this is a mad album. I'm not too up on the history of it, but it's quite an early one, and it was before Hall & Oates settled down into a career of doing fairly kind of light, sugary pop soul. Like I said, this is the kind of early part of their career, and they teamed up with Todd Rundgren. The record company wanted them to make a nice commercial album, and Todd just made this album for them, which is really insane. It's kind of like a psych rock, funky, weird, messed up kind of record. But this is on Atlantic. If you haven't heard this record and you like kind of, you know, far out, psyche, rocky, funky, messed up kind of pop music, then do yourself a favour and stream this record. It's nothing like what you'd expect from Hall & Oates. Excellent stuff. War Babies from 19-something or other, early 1970s, 74. And then this also from the Antique Centre. This is a band, I've got a couple of 45s by them, but I've never actually owned an album, so I picked this up. It was a good price. This is the J. Giles Band, and the album is called Nightmares and Other Tales from the Vinyl Jungle, which I thought was quite a good title. It's also quite a good album cover design there. and this is also on Atlantic. I think down at my local antiques place, I think the stall down there is basically a guy selling off his life's collection of records, and most of them seem to be American, so maybe he's either an American person or he's somebody who's lived in America, and most of the records I've been picking up from there are American issues, and they tend to be of American bands. Didn't know much about this bunch. Like I said, I've got a couple of 45s by them, but I'd never really checked them out. It's not a bad album. I wouldn't say it's fantastic. It's kind of well played, upbeat, rootsy, slightly bluesy rock music. It was okay. I quite enjoyed it. There were some other records of theirs down there, and I thought to myself, if I love this one, I'll go back and pick up the others. I didn't love this one. It's kind of okay. It's enjoyable enough. Didn't quite live up to the promise of the cover though, but it might yet still grow on me. So there we go, Jay Giles. Okay, so we've got just a few left. There's a few soul pickups and then a couple of pop items at the end. So hang on in there. So now these next few are from Heightside again. So we've got the wonderful Mary Wells and the album My Guy. So Mary Wells is famous really for being a great soul singer, but she also toured the UK in support of the Beatles in, I think it was 1964. Great singer. You know, her famous song My Guy is just wonderful. This is on Blue Regal. So I was pleased to pick up this record. Great cover as well on Tamla Motown. The One Who Really Loves You, You Beat Me to the Punch. Fantastic voice. And this next one, I was so pleased to get this. Never seen a record by him before, but this is Jerry Butler. Born in Sunflower, Mississippi, and he was famous for having worked with Curtis Mayfield. He was in the Impressions. At some point the Impressions broke up and he went off and did his own thing, and he never really gained much of a profile, but he was a wonderful singer and a wonderful writer as well. So this is a compilation of his VJ recordings, some great tracks on here. He Will Break Your Heart, that is such a great song. I've got that anthologised on one of the Dave Godin Deep Soul Treasures CDs. Sensual soul of the best kind. This record I showed in a video a while ago. The theme was male-female duos, so I'll show it briefly again now in case you didn't see that video. But this is Charles and Inez Fox and the album Mockingbird. So Mockingbird was their big famous song. They had a variety of other hits after that. Inez would sing, Charlie would play the guitar, and he would also do some little backing vocals in the background. And this is just lovely earthy soul music. They were two children from a large North Carolina family, so they were brother and sister. But it was often thought that they were husband and wife, but they were not. They were siblings. Finally, for the soul, we've got a bit of Eddie Floyd, and again, I've never seen a record by him. Chiefly famous, of course, for Knock on Wood, but honestly, this album is absolutely brilliant. Most of the tracks are from the 60s, I think, 68, 69, so they're kind of mid to late 60s, and the production is amazing. It's such a gutsy sound, you know. Really great songs as well. There's some songs on here by Booker T. Jones and Eddie Floyd in combination. I didn't realise he was such a great writer. I mean, I knew he was a great singer, obviously, but I didn't know that he had this great back catalogue of his own material. So, yeah, superb. And that one is on the beautiful Purple Stacks. Knock on Wood. What a song. Right, so that's all the cool stuff out of the way. Let's end with two slightly silly ones, bought for £1 each. I couldn't resist this. Not going to say too much about it. You all know it. You've all seen it. I'm not a big fan of Huey Lewis, but I just fancied having a copy of, well, The Power of Love is on here, I guess. So, Stuck With You as well. You've got to have it, haven't you, if you want a party, the wine is flowing, get the Huey Lewis on the turntable. And this one, this is a big step for me. I've never bought any records by this guy before. Never really liked him other than one song, but I saw this copy going cheap and it was in beautiful condition. So I thought I would pick up a copy of The Stranger by Billy Joel. I did enjoy it. The problem with Billy Joel is that he's like those just really popular guys at parties who always go off with the girl, you know, he entertains everybody on the piano during the party, and he's really precocious and annoying, and then he gets the girl at the end of the night. I've always felt that about Billy Joel. There's something about him, a bit slightly smarmy, slightly annoying, but you can't argue with his pop chops. So finally managed to get that into the collection. I don't know whether I'll take the Billy Joel any further than that. The one song by him that I love is We Didn't Start the Fire. I've always loved that track. I used to pour coins into the jukeboxes back in the day to hear that song. But for some reason I never took it any further than that. Anyway, it's a slippery slope, as is record collecting in general. Alright folks, so I've managed to bring that in at 20 minutes, not too bad. I'll try and shave some off in the edit. And I haven't quite cleared the inbox. I've got some VCLT to show and a few other miscellaneous finds, so I may do that in short order quite soon, or I may leave it a while, we'll see. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that update, and I'll see you all soon. Take care, bye bye.